What is up, everybody? What is up? Welcome to the Typical Browns Fan Podcast. TBF Pod, baby. Typical Browns Fan Podcast. Thank you for tuning in tonight, Monday night, 7 o'clock. Here I am, about to talk some Cleveland Browns with my fellow friends on the internet. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, follow, comment down below. Let people know that we're about to talk about the Cleveland Browns, specifically our new head coach, Todd Monken. Yes, that's right. Todd Monken is in the building. Do we expect him to become a head coach here in Cleveland? No. No, we didn't. We did not expect, at least I didn't. I can't speak for the billions of Browns fans out there. Yes, billions with the B. But I did not expect it. And I finally have started to accept the fact that Todd Monken is my head coach for the Cleveland Browns. I do what I do, man. I started looking into Todd Monken a little bit more because I ignorantly just pushed him to the side and said, I'm not wasting any time on Todd. But obviously, according to Mary Kay Cabot, he was the front runner the whole time, and everybody wanted him to be the head coach. Not just Jimmy Haslam, but Andrew Berry too. Everybody on the team, everybody that was on board looking for the head coach supposedly wanted Todd Monken. Is it hard to believe? Sure. It's hard, but I'll take it. I'll take it. You want to know why? Because I'm a Browns fan, and every year I find a reason to have hope. So this is what this podcast is all about. Todd Monken building his team, building up the assets in which he needs to develop a young roster or young, soon to be young roster through this upcoming draft. And it's very encouraging, the people that he is putting together. We're going to get into that today. We're going to also talk about his 6 pillars to success on offense. We're going to talk about that and how it compares to what the Browns did last year. And lastly, we're going to end the show with the worst sports take of the week. Most of you probably already saw it, but we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to give you my take. It's going to be a fun show. So thanks for tuning in again. Hit it up with some comments, like it, subscribe, share this feed, and let's just talk about it. First, we're going to start off with everybody in the AFC North has a head coach now. Everybody. Mike McCarthy's in Pittsburgh. Jesse Minter's in Baltimore. Zach Taylor is in Cincinnati. And us have the 60-year-old coach, Todd Monken. That's right, Todd Monken. Hey, this is love on this opportunity here, okay? Man is excited. If you watch the videos of him coming in, landing on the plane, you can just tell this man was in awe. He was excited. He was taking it all in. And there was a moment in which the Browns PR put out a video of Shador coming in the building. And him and Todd Monken dapping it up, laughing it up, cracking it up. And Todd Monken said, hey, we wanted to take you in the 5th round. And they all laughed and giggled. He said, but you know what happened? Didn't happen. You went to Cleveland instead. But look at us now. We're both here standing in the same office. The guy that I wanted to draft, supposedly, that's what he said. Is that encouraging to hear, Browns fans? The fact that supposedly, well, he said it, so it's not supposedly. He wanted Shador. He wanted to draft Shador in the 5th round of the same draft. And here he is having the quarterback that he wanted right in the office with him. Now, that's not to say that he's going to be the starter. I'm not saying that or he might be the starter. Not to sit there and say that Shador Sanders was going to be the starter in Baltimore, but I think they wanted to draft him to develop the kid. I mean, Lamar Jackson is there. He's hurt. He's inconsistent. They wanted somebody to hopefully maybe just see what was going to happen. Maybe he can be well enough to be the backup quarterback and maybe the heir pair to Lamar Jackson. We don't know because he's here. He's here now. And if we're going to get into the 6 pillars in which Todd Monken likes as an offense, and then you would see why he wanted to draft Shador because it's his prototypical type of quarterback. He likes them mobile or athletic. And so I know he's not known for his athletic ability, but he almost led the couple of games this past year at rushing. So there's some athletic ability in Shador. We already know he has an arm. So Todd Monken saw all this things going on with Shador, and he's like, I think I want to mold the kid. And I'm excited to see what can become of him. Am I, like putting money on it? No, I've never put in that nothing, no money on the Browns ever. That's just silly. I've been a Browns fan long enough to know that. But here he is, Todd Monken, confirming that he wanted Shador Sanders and he got the quarterback he wanted. Now, there's a lot of back and forth about who's going to start the season. I don't care, quite frankly, if Deshaun Watson starts the season. That makes sense because he's got the money. If Shador starts the season, that makes more sense too because he's probably the future, quote unquote. And I could see a side in which they say, we're going to bring Shador up slowly, so we're going to start Watson. We're going to hit the reset button. We're going to get you reps at camp. We're going to have you work on things that you need to work on. And we're going to develop you the way you should be developed. I can see them honestly doing it. And again, I can also see them throwing them out there at the end of the first game and see what may happen with Shador Sanders. So after that, Todd Monken started going to work. He started putting a team together. An offensive team, by the way. I don't know if you guys have noticed this yet, but the offensive team is pretty much becoming, coming into light of what type of offense he's going to run, the people he's selecting. Meanwhile, you've heard nothing, not a peep, on what he's going to get on defense. Coincidence? Now, I did read a report today saying that the defense is going to stay intact. Everyone on the defensive side of the ball is going to stay there. Outside of Jim Schwartz, they're kind of waiting on him to see what he's going to do. And there's not a lot of smoke. There's a little bit of smoke around that. So it's very interesting to see what's currently happening with these coaches and who's being selected to do the all-line and the offensive coordinator. Meanwhile, like I said, the defense, it's still intact. So is there a possibility for Jim Schwartz to come back? And how amazing would that be? This whole worry of most Browns fans worrying about Jim Schwartz leaving because Monken is here. And what if Monken somehow convinces Schwartz, hey, it's going to work out. You're great you're pretty good defense. And I'm going to work on this offense. If we can just come together, this team's going to be something special in a couple of years. I don't know what Monken's going to say. I'm sure he's going to hype himself up. I would if I was Monken. But the first guy out of the gate that Todd Monken got was George Warhop, offensive line. The first guy he said that he's going to hire as his offensive lineman. How important is that? Actually, Warhop was here from 2009 to 2013 before he was hired to the Ravens team. He's been 29 years on the offensive line as a coach. He actually, when he was here, he helped coach Joe Thomas. So Warhop is an veteran in the game, let's say. I'm excited for that. An old man to come in and say, hey, we're going to whip these hopefully young offensive linemen because they're going to have to go get some younger guys in here because, all our guys are broken down and hurting. And then you got the offensive coordinator, Travis Switzer, Ravens assistant for the last 9 years. The last 3 years, he was a run game coordinator. Switzer played 4 seasons at the offensive line at the University of Akron. So a local kid, local guy. From 2011 to 2014, Switzer was up in Akron, probably partying, playing football, losing a lot of games. But now he becomes our offensive coordinator. Interesting. Yeah, ROC. Then after that, we get our pass game coordinator, Danny Breyer. Danny Breyer spent the last season as an offensive assistant for the Ravens, offensive assistant, meaning him and Todd Monken work side by side. So there's a lot of familiarity there right off the hip. Former Ravens. He followed Todd Monken and offensive coordinator Travis Switzer from Baltimore. Breyer was in the Ravens for 3 years beginning in 2023 and as an offensive quality control coach. Got him. He said, "Hey, we're going to get this offense together and we're going to get some people and we're going to add some familiarity to top 3. We're going to get some people that I know, some people that I trust, and we're going to execute this offense the way I feel it should happen." Next up, tight ends coach Jeff Blasco. He's returning to Cleveland. See, this hire tells me that Monken is serious about structure and accountability. His background is rooted in teaching, organizing, and being in situational football. And we know situational football has been bad here in Cleveland. Bad. One thing I would often say about Kevin, and I'm somewhat of a Kevin fan, that his situational play calling was a little off. Needed help. He's there to run the operations cleanly, day to day. Next up is the offensive assistant, Ian Colsty. Ian Colsty is a hire. Ian Colsty hire is another sign that Todd Monken is building his staff with intention. He is known for his detail-oriented, behind-the-scenes operator, someone who helps connect the dots during the week-to-week game day plan, so it doesn't feel chaotic. This is a huge for the Browns team who struggle with situational football and in-game flow. The last 2 hires are going to help with situational football. And we needed help with that. We absolutely needed help. We stunk at situational football the last 4. You can even go back to 4 years. I would say 2.5 years, but if I wouldn't argue with you if we said the whole time Kevin was here, the situational play calling was in. And lastly, associate head coach. And this is a big one, folks. Daniel Stern. Daniel Stern was the game manager of the Baltimore Ravens last year. He was the situational guy. He would manage the time clock for Harbaugh in Baltimore. Now he leaves Baltimore and comes as the assistant head coach. What this says about Monken is Stearns isn't a splashy name. He's a structured guy. He's been around multiple systems, understanding how to connect offense, defense, and situational football, and that what matters to this team for many years, like I said, is situational play calling. So on Sunday, these 3 and Saturday night into Sunday, these 3 men were hired, and they're all focused on situational play calling and situational moments in games in which, again, and I'll repeat over and over again, we absolutely stunk at. We just stunk. It was horrible. So hopefully with this team coming in together and the Baltimore Ravens vibe comes into Berea and our situational play calling will be and hopefully it improves. Hopefully it improves our offense. That's the hope. Lastly, a quarterback coach today, Mike Bajrika, former Tampa Bay's coach when Monken was there. Todd Monken's been around. A real quarterback developer is what he is with Todd Monken when he was in Tampa Bay. He worked with different types of quarterbacks, different systems, and different levels of talent. That matters for the Browns because the team has not had continuity at the quarterback situation in forever. So that's who he's built up. That's who he has built up on the offensive side of the ball so far. He was just working hard. As soon as he hit Berea, he met your door. He's like, all right, let's put this team together. It's important that he has a team that all have the same vision, right? Everyone has to have the same goal. Obviously, the goal is to win the Super Bowl, but obviously the Browns are so far from that. So Munkins has to come in here and he has to bring out this vision to the whole team. And he's been speaking of this vision for quite a while. It's Munkin's 6 pillars for success for offenses focusing on efficiency and explosiveness. Two things that we struggled with for a very long time. We had moments where we were explosive and efficient, but to be a consistent offense where it's efficient and consistent, we have not. And the 6 pillars are this: don't turn the ball over, be explosive, score touchdowns in the red zone, be good on third down, don't have lost yardage plays, have an athletic quarterback who can make off schedule plays. It's important. That's the last one is the most important one. Have a quarterback who can make off schedule plays that is athletic. And that's something Kevin struggled with. I'm starting with 6 for some reason. That's something that I think appealed to Haslam and Barry, saying, hey, I can develop a quarterback who can not only play within structure, but once things start to break down, he needs to know where to go. And I can do that. So let's start with number 1. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to go 1 through 6. And I'm going to tell you what the Browns rankings were last year in those 6 categories. Are you ready? Number 1, don't turn the ball over. Browns were 3rd most in turnovers with 25. 18 interceptions, 10 of those came from Shedeur Sanders in 7 games, and 7 fumbles. 18 interceptions, 7 fumbles, 3rd most turnovers in the NFL. And I think last year they led the league in turnovers. If not, they're definitely bottom 5. So Todd Monken is going to come in and fix that. He's going to teach them how to not to turn the ball over as a quarterback and how to hold the ball as a running back, or if you're a receiver, how to tuck that ball in so it's facing the sideline and not outside with an open field. He's going to teach them all that to limit the turnovers, because turnovers overall impacts explosive plays, because if you're turning the ball over, you're not doing explosive plays because you don't have the ball, and it impacts the red zone scoring touchdown percentage because you're not in the red zone because you're turning the ball over, and you can't be third on good down. Why? You can't be good on third down. Why? Because you're turning the ball over, and needs to stop. Number 2, explosive plays. The Cleveland Browns had 22 explosive plays last year. 22. That is ranked 31st, second to last in the NFL last year. Explosive plays. We need them. We need him. He's going to teach them how to run a route. He's going to teach the quarterback what to read in order to get it. He's going to teach the offensive line to block. So hopefully a running back gets some explosive plays. But Todd Monken, number 2, most important thing to run a successful offense is be explosive plays. And he's going to incorporate that somehow in his offensive scheme. Number 3, scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Browns were ranked 22. Not bad. Not last. Almost up there in mid area. But 53% of the time they scored touchdowns, not field goals. Field goals, that percentage probably goes up a little bit more. But you're scoring touchdowns in the red zone. They were 53% last year. It needs to be higher. And with Todd Monken, if you look wherever he has gone, he has scored points. He has scored major points. Matter of fact, I want to tell you a little fact about Todd Monken. He was hired in 2023 by the Baltimore Ravens. You know who else was hired in 2023 here? Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz was hired in 2023. Todd Monken, 2023. And do you know that in the 6 meetings, head-to-head meetings between Jim Schwartz and Todd Monken, defense versus offense, the Baltimore Ravens averages 30 points per game against his defense under Todd Monken's offensive play calling. Why? Because they scored touchdown in the red zone. And the Browns, if you look back at the one thing that they struggle with consistently under Jim Schwartz, is they struggle with holding offenses not to score touchdowns in the red zone. Meaning, once they get in the red zone, most likely I thought it was as high as 60% last year that the defense allowed a touchdown once the offense got in the red zone. So Monken's going to teach our offense how to be better and more efficient in the red zone. Number 4, be good on third down. And we know as Browns fans, our offense was not good on third down. They weren't good at all in general on offense the last 2 years. But last year, this past year, they were ranked number 30th on third down conversion. 30th. They converted only 31% of their third down plays. That's bad. In order to be in the red zone and in order to continue to run explosive plays, you have to be able to move the chains on third down. So situational play calling too comes into play, right? So you don't want to be 1st and 15 or 2nd and 9. So he's got to put them in situations where that first down on third down is more manageable. And Browns fans, we've seen many 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 15s, which makes it difficult to get a first down, especially if your explosive play rate is at ranked 31st or only 22. That's bad. It all works together here, and it makes sense. Number 5, what would help you get third downs is don't lose yardage. Number 5, don't lose yardage plays. Todd Monken is going to be preaching that. Like, listen, we can't lose yardage. How can you lose yardage? Quarterback sacks. And we've seen a lot of them. We're ranked number 20th with 7.25% of the time we were sacked on offense. 345 yards lost on sacks. On sacks alone, 345. That is what Todd Monken means by don't have lost yardage plays. Sacks. And another one, offensive penalties. Offensive penalties, we had 360 yards lost due to offensive penalties. That is a total of 705 yards. Look at that. Right off the top of my head. I didn't even have it in my notes. I just did it in my head. That's that public school math, dog. Simple math, I know. Give me some credit, guys. So 705 yards lost on offense due to quarterback sacks and offensive penalties. Todd Monken's going to come in with his strong-minded offensive line coach, with his strong-minded OC, and they're going to work together to get this offensive line not to jump off sides or not to line up in the neutral zone, or even the receivers to line up right properly at the line of scrimmage. Or even, believe it or not, we've had a lot of delay of game penalties. He's going to work with the quarterbacks with that. Number 6, and this is the big one, guys. Have an athletic quarterback who can make off-schedule plays. We talked about that. We've had a poor performance when it comes to quarterback since Baker. Baker was the last consistent that we can say that he was good. He had some explosive plays. He was 500. He was just good. Not great, but good. But we need to find. So when we start to think about what type of quarterback the Browns want, you have to look at it from this perspective of an athletic quarterback who can make off-schedule plays. He's got to be able to move in the pocket. Todd Monken does not like a pocket passer. He wants the guy to move. Watson, before the injuries, would be perfect for Monken. That's something to think of. You can't ignore the fact that if Watson can come back and look somewhat sensible as a quarterback, he might be an option for Monken. We can't poo-poo that. So when we think of even future quarterbacks, if Monken is here in the draft, even if they pick up a quarterback who's athletic and can make off schedule throws, that's something to keep your side eye on just a little bit. So what makes Monken's offense so different from Kevin's? Monken's offense is versatile in both run and pass, but what really sets it off is this: that he doesn't force the scheme, but he molds his personnel. He looks for favorable matchups. He explores defensive flaws and consistently puts his top talent in spots to succeed. That flexibility allows his offense to adjust week to week without losing its core identity, and it helps them play faster because the game plan matches what the players do best. And that's what separates him from Kevin. So when you come in and you met when they, sorry, not we, when they came in and met with Monken, and Monken came up with this plan saying, I can match whatever game plan to play whatever defense we're facing. That is a leg up on the competition. Kevin had a structure that people had to play within, a timing routes. You got to play, you got to be able to hit that route or get that 4 yards. If not, if we're on 3rd and 15, it's going to be a lot harder for Kevin to kind of get that first down because he doesn't do well with explosive plays. Todd Monken, who wants to do explosive plays with it with a quarterback that can play off schedule or off script, and he comes in and he portrays this image or this vision of what he wants to do, and it's exploiting defensive flaws. Coaches need to know what the defense runs and where their weaknesses are. And regardless of the talent, regardless of who the receiver is, Todd Monken is going to scheme up for them and play. So I would look a lot for Fanning to have a really good year next year, because I think Fanning's one of our top talented pass catchers. I would also look at Samson out of the backfield, something that I don't think Kevin worked well with, or even put him in the game plan for some reason, even though you drafted a kid. I would look for Samson's versatility. So why did the Browns go with him over Jim Schwartz? I think I told you a little bit ago. I personally think the Browns look at the situation and say, listen, Todd Monken scored 30 points on this defense. And he has his plan together. And he presented them what his team would look like. That was appealing. He said, hey, I'm going to bring this analytical guy from Yale to be my assistant head coach, my associate head coach. I'm going to bring this guy, my team. And everything I think Jimmy liked in Baltimore was the analytical side and how well they ran it. And he wanted just to copy and paste. I also wanted to point out, too, that not too many of those Raven people followed John Harbaugh, sorry, to the Giants. Todd Monken poached a lot of those guys offensively. So Todd Monken's energy and how to run an offense won the front office over. The big worry of Jim Schwartz from what I was reading is that who he would get on offense and would they be good? See, the Browns played Todd Monken 6 times in 3 years, and they saw how well that offense performed against his defense. And they say to themselves, well, if our defense is top 5 and he performed well consistently, not just against our defense, but other defenses in the league, maybe we can get that here. And that's something I didn't even think about until they hired him. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together of how well he performed against what we as Browns fans love our defense so much. We think they're the top defense, but technically they're top 5. So when they saw the fact that Todd Monken can put an offense together and he has a plan in which that he doesn't have any limits, or that he can adjust to whatever defense he's playing, that was appealing to them. On top of that, You probably had Shieldhouse or Grant that probably could have done the same. They probably had the same plan. But the thing is, like Monken has history. He has proof. It's proof. I understand the dude's 60. He's going to be 60 years old, but he has a resume that is amazing from an offensive perspective. Really consistently good, from Tampa to Georgia to even in Southern Miss where he was, Southern Missouri, where he was. He's performed well offensively everywhere he's gone. And Barry in his press conference said, "Hey, we're going to get somebody here who is offensively good to help our offense, which just downright stinks right now." So when I seen all this in my mind, I was thinking, man, I can't believe I missed all this stuff from, because I was so short-minded because I wanted a younger guy. I wanted somebody who is going to be, I don't know, grow within the system of this team. And instead, I think they went with the older talent because they wanted somebody who may, I mean, you could see the team that Monken is putting together now of young talent. Maybe within that web of people that he's searching for, um, he will find them. Find a future Brown. What I think, what I would think mentally myself is that Monken is going to set up a culture in which our offense could run efficiently enough to get it to be respectable to where you you want an offensive coach wants to either come here or you develop somebody within Todd Monken's tree below him. That's my take on it. That's why I've settled down with. I said, maybe he won't be here for 10, 15 years. Maybe he'll be here for his contract and the Browns will say, hey, it's been great. You set up a culture in which analytically we're great. We're top notch in the league. And you know what? We're going to move on to this guy below because he's your protege and you taught him well. That's just my thinking as a Browns fan and what I've kind of concluded, I guess. I don't know. But we'll move on to our last thing of the day. I'm excited for Monken. I've convinced I don't want to say I convinced myself. I've seen the videos that you've seen. I've seen the way he's talked, that way that he not only tells players what to do, but why. And that's important. Maybe Kevin was just telling players what to do outside of just why to do it, why it would be successful. He's telling players what to do, where to go, why he should do this because it's going to lead to this. A good communicator, in which Andrew Berry said that he wanted in this press conference. And believe it or not, I'm upset at you internet people because I didn't see any of those videos of Todd Monken talking to folk. I saw a lot of Grant, and that got me excited because Grant's sitting there talking football, and I'm like, man, this guy's smart. He sounds brilliant. He sounds like he can communicate to tons of players very well. And then Monken gets hired, and all of a sudden, you internet swoops come in and just start populating these videos of Todd Monken talking, and it makes me like, man, this guy knows football. This makes me more confident, which leads me to my next topic here called the worst sports take of the week. Check this out.
Week. Someone logs onto the internet and chooses nonsense. Bad logic. Zero shame. Welcome to the worst sports take of the week.
This is the worst.
Worst sports take of the week is brought to you by Emmanuel Ocho. Check this out. He talked about Todd Monken and how Shedeur Sanders shouldn't listen to him. This horrible take. Check this out.
Because any expectation for Shedeur Sanders under Todd Monken, I believe, will lead to disappointment. There is nothing about Todd Monken as a head coach that should get you excited. As an offensive coordinator, you could say Lamar Jackson had an MVP season under Todd Monken. As an offensive coordinator, Lamar Jackson had 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions under Todd Monken. As an offensive coordinator, you can make arguments under Todd Monken. Stetson Bennett won 2 national championships at Georgia under Todd Monken. But as a head coach, no. Nothing about Todd Monken as a head man gets me excited. I need to see who the offensive coordinator is going to be. That's what I need to see. But what I don't yet see, T, is like, how is Todd Monken going to command that locker room, command that group of men? And also, if I'm Shador or anybody in that locker room, why am I listening to Todd Monken? What have you won on an NFL level as a head coach? You're not even a head coach on an NFL level. So I don't even have expectations for Shador under Todd Monken, because I believe any expectations I would have, he would not meet. Because why am I excited about it, T? Why?
Yeah. Bad take of the week brought to you by Lego Heads Barber Saloon. Go to Lego Heads Barber Saloon in Berea, Ohio, and it'll be there that you'll get a nice haircut and a nice beard trim, Barb Marlin. And you can talk to him about this horrible take from Ocho, because he literally listed why you should listen to him by saying, sure, he has success in Georgia. Sure, he has success in Tampa. Sure, he has success in Baltimore teaching quarterback. But still, because he was never done it as a head coach, you shouldn't listen to him. Ridiculous. On top of that, you're telling Shador Sanders, who is literally 5th round pick, probably needs to prove himself a little more than what Ocho is saying right there. I think that was a horrible take, telling a young kid like Shador Sanders not to listen to a head coach, because the last thing Shador Sanders needs to do is go into Berea thinking he doesn't need to listen to somebody who's never a head coach, because believe it or not, the Browns would have ended up with somebody who was never a head coach before. That's just the reality of it. It would have been Grant, Shieldhouse, or Monken. I never thought Jim was an opportunity to be a head coach. I thought they always wanted him to stay on the defensive side. So thank you. Congratulations to Ocho for being the worst take of the week and trying to tell a 5th round quarterback not to listen to his coach. That is crazy. Ocho has never been a quarterback before, yet he's giving a quarterback his advice, saying, don't listen to Monken, listen to me. Come on, guys. You got to do better. Media, that's a horrible take. Horrible take. Well, guys, that's it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in to the Typical Browns Fan podcast. Please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you're listening to. Please do so. If you listen to us on the Beater Browns podcast, please like us, subscribe, and follow. We need 270 more followers over there on YouTube. So go over there and click that follow link on YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening, and all the comments below. Much appreciated. I'll see you next week. Hopefully with not a horrible sports take like that. Maybe something less subtle. And hopefully we'll start to see, we get a defense answers here, right? Hopefully we get a defensive answer where our defense is at, whether we're keeping Jim or do we have Anthony Weaver? Do we have Tarver promoted? We'll see. We'll see. So stay tuned to the Typical Browns Fan podcast or the Beater Browns podcast, because as soon as the news drops, you will have it there. I promise you. Thank you. Till next time, like always, go Browns.